Trapped by the belief that I'm not good enough, bound by the limitations and the lies that consumed my world, this was me. It wasn't until I took the biggest leap in my life to know and trust the power within. And it was at that moment I made a choice. My past will not define me anymore. Hello, I am Teri, and I know I am not alone in this. Over the years, I have found that the number one mistake that we make is that we get in the way of our own success story. Yes, I said it. On this show, together we'll tackle limiting beliefs, self sabotage, getting stuck, fear, doubt, overwhelm, and the imposter syndrome. Join us on this journey designed to transport you beyond your limitations to a world where anything is possible. This is Talking with Teri. Hello, and welcome back to Talking with Teri, where we have powerful conversations to transform your life and your business. I'm so delighted we have our guest today, author of Purpose and founder of the Purpose Academy, Huie, who is coming to us from Jamaica. And so welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to dive in here and learn a little bit more about you and how you got to be where you're at today. So share with us what that journey has been like.
Gosh, it's been a journey full of contrast, Teri, massive contrast from, I think like many of us, the driving force behind my ambition was a feeling of not being enough. And sometimes that's conscious and other times it's unconscious, right? Certainly in my case, it was the latter. But yeah, I had lots of feelings of shame around having become a very young mum. Became a mum at 17. And when my daughter was born, I realized very quickly that I needed to make some big changes fast, or our life was going to be one of real mediocrity. And that's what I did. I really threw myself into going back to school, and then into just accruing all the work experience that I could in the media. And doing pays dividends when you do lots of it. And I was definitely doing lots of it. So I was able to forge this very successful career certainly by society's standards in terms of what is deemed as success, as a journalist and then a PR consultant, flying around the world to places I'd never heard of with A-list clients and really transforming my life practically. I'd grown up in a council estate, and had no qualifications and no money when I became a mother. So really transformed my soul, the power of focus, and also, not being limited by what we believe is possible for ourselves. I think in my case, it came less from a place of so sort of connection to the possibilities and more to do with, I think there was a lot of dissociation going on actually, but it worked.
Right.
I thought,
Healthy dissociation.
healthy dissociation.
My background, for many of my audience knows that I was a mental health therapist for 20, almost 27 years. And so this is where we can say dissociation works.
I don't know if it's a thing, but certainly for me, it was like, I'm going to fly around the world and interview superstars.
I love it.
Despite having no connection to that world or knowing anyone, that's exactly what unfolded. And so I went on like that for a number of years and became what I describe as an accidental entrepreneur when I was 27, 26, because I was looking for a greeting card for my little girl who was then 7. She was going through a stage of not liking her hair. She had beautiful afro hair. And I went looking for a card, with a brown skinned princess, and discovered, and I was just going to write, "You're perfect as you are," discovered there was nothing in the high street at that point, 2006 in London, one of the most multicultural cities in the world, that was representative. And it was a time where no one was really talking about it in the way that they are today. And for me, it was very simple. Well, all the princesses are blonde, and my daughter is being impacted, her sense of self and who she wants to be, because she wanted straight hair, she wanted blonde hair, and all of the imagery around her wasn't reflective. And so there was one of those moments where I, felt inspired to do something about the problem. And that became the start of my entrepreneurial journey in the middle of this, successful media career. And so started Colorblind Cards, and we became the first to secure a presence for Black greeting cards in the British High Street, Black greeting cards, multicultural cards, and really were a real part of this early conversation around why representation is so important. And it took my life.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. I'm proud of it. Yeah. And it was really, made loads of mistakes. Had no clue what I was doing in terms of running a business, but it was just the most incredible adventure to go on, and to see that you can feel moved by something, create a solution, and have people get behind it. I think it was my first recognition of the power of purpose long before it was conscious, and I went on to write the book Purpose. But at that point it was like, wow, when you feel something and you're able to communicate it and express it, people also feel it and will get behind you and come on that journey. And that's something, I'm really grateful to have learned, to have experienced that at that point in my life, and had no idea that it was going to, that knowing of what's possible when we sort of draw from beyond the intellect, it would become such a huge part of my work as it has today.
That's wonderful. Now, are you mainly doing that?
No. That's like a whole several lifetimes ago.
Okay.
Today my focus is, so the second part of the story, which I'll share very briefly just for context. I started a PR business, worked with lots of very well-known people, everyone from Samuel Jackson to the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, but was a complete workaholic, Teri, was working around the clock, never present with myself. And then 2016, that all changed when I stopped to care for my father, who'd been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And it was just a real transformative period of my life, because that period of presence was the first time that I'd really connected with myself and started to feel. And it was life-changing. And I started to write during that period, not thinking about writing a book, but not thinking at all, just kind of this expression. And that expression evolved into the book, which Hay House went on to publish. And I discovered what happens when we park our own agenda and allow something else to kind of come through us. Changed the course of direction of my life, started to live much more from my heart than my head, hence finding myself here in Jamaica, and launched the Purpose Retreat, the Purpose Academy, which helps purpose-driven small business owners to embrace visibility. So my life is all around all things purpose today.
That's wonderful. So what has been like, I know that you said, kind of you became like an accidental entrepreneur. And I think that's the case for many of us, is that we start on this pathway, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, I'm now into this thing, and we don't necessarily have the training, the background, and, we don't have the business knowledge going into that. What has been some of your biggest hurdles on this process for yourself?
I think my biggest hurdles have all been internal. They haven't been the practical things. It's always been me against me. And yes, of course, there have been multiple times where and I sort of share this in my book, examples like securing incredible opportunities, a deal with Staples, but then on some level not having the self-worth or the self-esteem to really allow this incredible opportunity to come, to hold it, to be with it. And I'm talking retrospectively, this is a long time ago now, but And so just feeling overwhelmed, so the sabotage would show up and then not delivering on the deal.
Yeah.
There've been it's been those things, and getting to a stage where, I really recognize that, my greatest limitations are those that begin and sort of end in my mind and my heart, and really just prioritizing the healing that's been required to um, expand my bandwidth for true success.
Yeah. What would you say has been like the maybe the practice or the process that you've gone through to expand, to allow for more?
Mm. I mean, it definitely begun with getting present and connecting to myself, um, feeling, feeling for such a long time. My sense of identity was hemmed to, what I did for a living, the people I worked with. And it wasn't conscious. It wasn't but it was, I remember having this client sit on my sofa one day back in 2008. I was 28 years old, and my shelf was kind of covered in these glassy awards. And he said, who are you without those awards? And I said, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. And who are you outside of the roles and the awards? And I couldn't answer him. And it stayed with me because it was really a real start of the exploration of who I was beyond what I did, and who I was for others. And so, to answer your question, it's been leaning into that journey and beginning to cultivate a relationship with myself where I'm available to hear what I need, um, and giving myself what I need, loving myself, self-love, compassion. um, and through that healing, I think is the expansion has been able to unfold, and it's ongoing, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful way to put that. So what would you share with the audience? Like, what tip, tool, strategy, what's something tangible that we can have our audience and our listeners, start to practice today, start to implement today? I'm all about, making a change today and making a shift. And so what would you say has been one of your favorite ways to start to shift that process?
Hmm. I mean, it's my morning practice. It's my, that's the space where I say I meet myself on the page, in my journal. It's where I get really clear on um, where I'm at, and therefore what I need. Um, and just prioritizing that, everything from my goals for the day or for the month to um the state of my health and it's where I get to observe myself, and then make a decision around what's required to, whether it's shifting my energy or um what the tangible actions are. It all starts and ends in that little meeting with myself. So I think, I don't know if I'd imagine that most of the women listening already have something in place, but if not, it's really getting very consistent with that, and build our self reputation is built through the consistency and the discipline of carrying that out, and that can only transfer onto other areas of our lives.
And I think that's so important because I think the consistency and creating and establishing a habit of whatever that morning routine or evening routine is. And I think that powers and it fuels us, and it really just starts the day. It starts with getting great sleep and, having that morning routine, but also, having that evening routine to wind down the brain and meet in the middle. Right. And it's powerful. And I think, you know, so many of, when we think about success and when we think about, folks that have, created that success, it always comes back. I feel like it always comes back to what are the habits, what are the ways in which they're caring for themselves. And it's not a selfish thing, but it's really carving out and making a commitment, to start the day in a powerful way.
It's an inside out process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything
Hmm.
that we're able to create in terms of matter, and impact is all an expression of where we're at with our own self, but it's an inside out job. So as much as it can feel um, a little far removed to be talking about, things like meditation or journaling in relation to business, I think on the contrary, it's exactly where we should be starting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think as I've done my own journey, it's interesting because more of the spirituality, which I was surprised by, that on this business path, like the more awakened, I guess, the spiritual path has come along with it, right? And tapping in, tuning in, and turning on that inner knowing, the trusting, the guiding, internal guidance system that's kind of leading in this path. It's very powerful.
Mhm.
I love it. So where can people find more about you? Where can they connect, collaborate, get your
Um,
book?
Sure. The website is JessicaHuie, HUIE.com. And my Instagram is Jessica_Huie_.
Perfect. I love it. Well, thank you so much for just being you and really reconnecting. And I think as you're journeying through this path, like you're just waking up more and more people and having them tap into their purpose, purpose-driven life. And I think together we're making this planet a better planet.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Thanks for having me. Nice to see you.
I am so grateful that you joined me for this episode. If you've enjoyed this, then there's just one thing that I would like you to do. Click to subscribe and leave me a rating and review. As my way to thank you, let's connect for a free consultation. Just reach out to me at talkingwithteri, that's TERI.com, to book your time.